Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. We're going to pick up right where we left off at. Mm, There we go. Joining the security industry. Let's talk about it. Who could make a good security officer? Almost anyone. But some of the best guards are those who have subconscious training and experience. Subconscious training and experience. How do you get subconscious training and experience in the security industry? How would you have that subconsciously? Hell, we'll get off into it. I have over 30 years of experience in the security industry. 30 years. What's going on? Something ain't right. Yeah, we having technical difficulties this evening, ladies and gentlemen, but don't worry, don't worry. We'll get to the presentation and we're just gonna have to go through it a little quicker, fast as we can. Like I was saying, joining the security industry, who could make a good guard? People with subconscious training. I have 30 years of experience in the security industry. I've done it all, man. Security, up to my concerts, backstage, jazz festivals, shopping centers, malls, swap meets, graveyards, shipping and receiving, bodyguard work, armed, escort, strip clubs, bars, schools, fugitive recovery. I dibbled and dabbled in it all. That's what I did out of high school. Got my guard card right out of high school, and that's why I believe the young men and young women coming out of high school should go to trade school before they pursue college. Pick up a trade so you can earn you some money while you go to school. You know, I'm real heavy on that, trying real hard to get the security guard training into any high schools that will allow the program to be, you know, the training to be taken on campus. Young men, young women getting ready to graduate, get their guard card right there in school, right before they graduate. Man, that's good stuff right there. It's no brainer to me. Training security for 20 years. We brought security training to the economically disadvantaged, training over 1,000 low income residents and others all over LA County. Yeah, we did that, man. Like going back like 8, 9 years ago, we did that program. Went to all the different housing developments and did guard car training for free for the first 10 residents. Anybody after that, $20. You did not have to be a resident to take the training. You could just live anywhere. And if you got your hands on one of those flyers telling you to come, that you can, and you wanted to get your guard card, you were welcome to come and take the training. So that's how we got down, man. And like I said, we trained over 1,000 residents and others working with the Kazakh Sons group. Yeah, we went to all the Hackler sites, all 14, or 12 of the 14 we made it to. And yeah, we did some good work with the resident advisory councils of that time. That's us and then Big Nick right there. And then next to that, we opened Jordan Downs with my girl Laura. Shouts out to Laura. She all that. helped make the program go smoothly. All the resident advisory councils were very cooperative, helped bring the program to community. They fed the residents. They had lunch for the residents. They had refreshments. That the training is typically in LA. I don't know about other states. That's another thing that we got to deal with this. This is basic fundamentals on the security industry, unarmed security. This is not certified training for no state. You're still going to have to go to your local state and find a private patrol operator or whoever's licensing your state to do security training or whatever your state regulations are for security training. You're going to have to go through that training. In California, I believe it's still an 8-hour mandatory training that you have to take, and you have to pass the class. You have to answer every question correctly, I believe, in the state of California. But the point is, whatever the state requirements is for you to become a security officer or an armed security officer, you need to go through those trainings and through those proper procedures in order to legally do security, in your state. Because California, you're not supposed to wear nothing on you that says security if you're not a licensed security officer. Okay, so this is just the basic fundamentals for people that are interested in getting into the security industry. We're going to talk a little bit about it. That's all. But coming back, yeah, Big Nick Jordan. Yeah, we did unarmed and armed training. Some people took the firearm training. Now, we wasn't able to discount the firearm training like we could the guard card class because you got to go to the range. You have to, you may have to rent a weapon if you don't have your own, and then you got to purchase rounds for the range. Then you have to purchase your poster and all that stuff. So that part of the training was like auxiliary for people who wanted to and could afford to go do that part of the training. But here we are over in the Strata courts doing a training over there. And if you watch some of my other videos, I mentioned this place in one of my other videos. If you remember that video, you remember what I mentioned. But here we are doing the training here with, I think her name was Rosie. She was a sweetheart. That was their president. And of course, we went to all the sites. So here we are in Gonzaga, and then we over in Imperial Courts. We did 70 people in one training in Imperial Courts. Let's get off into it. Questions. I always ask my class this is how I opened up my training and then got to know if people really want to get into this industry. Have you ever heard a gunshot before? Ever heard a gunshot? Ever heard anybody shoot a gun off or, anything like that? Yeah. Good question. And this is the question I'm asking the question. Have you ever heard the gunshot and it was a shot close to you? Were you able to see the flare from the muzzle? Were you, that close? You know what I'm saying? Did you hear the whizzing of the bullets zipping by? You understand? Where I come from, man, yeah. Yeah. Not only did I hear it early, I mean, back in the 80s in LA, New Year's used to be loud, man, in projects. But yeah. Have you ever heard a gunshot before? You ever been close enough to see the flare? Have you ever been shot at? I've been shot at. So just asking these questions. You ask these questions on your own, or you can ask them in the comments. That's what you want to do. But these are the questions I'm asking, and I'm asking for a specific reason. So these yes. So these these are the questions that we ask for a certain reason. And like I said, we're gonna get off into it. Next slide. Can you tell the difference between, say, a handgun like a Glock and an AK-47 like an assault rifle? Can you tell the difference between the sounds of the weapons? They both have distinct sounds. If you've been around firearms, a handgun sounds one way and an assault rifle sounds another. And so if you come from the hood, you done heard both. It's one thing to hear that Glock or that 9 or that 45, bop, bop, bop. It's another thing to hear that K or that M1 or that M14, cow, cow, cow. When they break that wind, cow, cow, cow. Ooh, that's a cool sound. But the question is, Have you been around enough in your experience in life to where you can tell the difference between these weapons? Have you ever heard a firearm shot before? Have you ever seen the flare from the muzzle? Have you ever been shot at before? I mean, in a position where you've seen someone being shot at. Can you tell the difference between a pistol and a assault rifle if you heard them? These are very important questions that we're asking. Ever witnessed a shooting? Have you ever seen a person seriously injured, shot, or killed? You ever witnessed that? You ever see that with your own two eyes? I have, unfortunately. I think the first time I seen a person lose their life or seen a person die, I may have been about 9, 8. I was really, hey man, I'm from the project from Watts, man. So yeah, we get broke in early on that kind of thing. But yeah, have you ever seen a person shot, stabbed, seriously injured? Did you ever have you ever witnessed a person lose their life or succumb to their injuries? Who has witnessed tragedy, terrible accidents ending in death, or other violent incidents? Have you ever assisted a person who needed a person or needed a person facing some kind of serious danger? Or help the person in need of some kind of serious danger. You ever had a person snatch your screen off your window and dive through your window trying to avoid an attacker, or they probably believe somebody was trying to kill them? Happened to me when we was kids. My sister, my sister Angel, you remember that? But yeah, we've seen some crazy things. Not to mention people get shot, and my mother trying to, like bandage them up. My mother was an RN, so a lot of times stuff happened to projects. People could make it to my mother's house. That's what they would try to do because they knew she knew something about, medical guys falling off mopeds and stuff like that. They want to go see Big Mama Jan, man. That's how it was. But no, ever witnessed any of these things? Have you ever seen any of this stuff in your life? Ever witnessed a riot? Was witnessed a riot, seen their own community on fire. It's going down in LA. Just got through going down in LA. They had some craziness going on in my part of town, man. And off of Wilmington 103rd, they tried to do some vandalism or whatever, man. Hey, look, man. They did it. They did it like 4 in the morning. You know what I mean? Because everybody ain't rioting. You know what I mean? But the question is, have you ever witnessed a riot? You ever seen your whole community or your whole city, in chaos? And things burn, buildings on fire and cars on fire, stuff like that. We recently just had that in LA again. These pictures are from '92 when I was a youngster. You know what I'm saying? Well, they went down again. LA keeps some rioting going on because just how it is. It's one of the reasons security is such a big thing. But yes, question is, have you ever witnessed a riot or a community uprising? Have you ever lived in fear of your life, or in fear of someone in family member, loved one? You ever lived in hey man, shit. Where I come from, dude, and let's just keeping it 400, man. All them little project units, man, back in them days, in the late 70s, early 80s, everybody had like a small arsenal up in their unit, man. Just keeping it at 100. When I was a kid, things were kind of crazy in my neighborhood, man. I say I'm one in Brother Malcolm's hand, man. We had a few of those. You know what I'm saying? The bit of they posted and looking out the windows, man. Yeah, you ever found yourself walking around with a gun, not because you're out to get somebody, because you're in self defense and you're doing security for yourself or for your family or for your household? Have you ever lived that way? Has that ever happened to you? Well, I would have you to know we want to channel that PTS, post traumatic stress. All those things I just named off that we just went through, they are contributors to post traumatic stress disorder. They sure are. And most people in the inner cities of America suffer from some kind of PTSD if they've been exposed to those things that we just went over. All of those things we just went over, all of that craziness. Have you ever went through any of those things, some of those things, all of those things, and tell me, were you able to think clearly when you heard those gunshots? Were you able to keep a clear head even though you seen the flare from the gun? Were you able to still get those kids or get that girl or get somebody and get them to safety in the midst of those bullets whizzing by? Has it ever happened to you? You ever found yourself having to try to protect a person from serious seriously being hurt because it's just a situation in your community. You ever had to pull a gun on somebody because you was trying to save somebody else's life? Or have you ever shot at somebody trying to save somebody else's life? Post-traumatic stress, man. Coming from South LA, man, Compton, Watts, Inglewood, West LA, Crenshaw, the areas, man, where all the banging is going on. And then it just in LA, we talking about all over the United States. Everybody that come from these kind of communities suffer from some type of PTS. But like it says here, we can take that trauma and utilize it as a tool for employment and serving in one of the biggest industries in America. You understand? Because you will make a better security guard than people who have never been through any of those things. You who done heard gunshots before, seen the flare from the muzzle, and still was able to think with a clear head. You who could tell the difference between a handgun and an assault rifle from the sound. See, law enforcement, they need that kind of information when you're briefing them if an incident or an emergency just went down. If you're able to tell them, and I heard it sounded like assault rifles to me. Trust me, that's important to the police. Okay? But coming from where we come from, I learned this when I got into the industry, man. I've been carrying a gun since I was 12 years old. And what did I do? I didn't rob people. I always thought that was cowardly, but my neighborhood and my family, we had issues. So I found myself being 12 years old, packing a 22 Beretta in my pocket almost everywhere I went, and a 22 Luger after that, long rifle, you know what I'm saying, and Deuce 5, you know what I'm saying, all those shotguns and these weapons. The thing about it is I packed a gun and I watched corners. That's what I did. I packed a pistol and I kept my eye on things. As a kid, it's like I was being trained to do security from an early childhood. And when I got into security, it was like I took to it like a fish to water. It's like, oh, I know how to do this. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you know what I'm saying? I took the trauma and I turned it into 30 years paying my rent, taking care of my children, and doing my manly responsibilities. You understand me? So yeah, roles of a security officer. Now we're dealing with just basic fundamentals, unarmed. We're not going to be dealing with armed. I did armed security. I did unarmed security. I did armed. I did both. I did felony arrests, shootings. I did everything that the law enforcement done. I did it all. Pepper spraying, slamming people down, handcuffing, the whole 9 yards. I got the only thing I didn't do is I never shot nobody, and every cop ain't done that. And I didn't ever kill nobody. Every cop ain't done that. I know guards that kill people. I know guards that shot people. It's real out there. This is not a plaything. This is when security is I know they make jokes and stuff and do movies, but this is a serious industry, and you really got to have some type of integrity to do this kind of work. You are the first responder. Before LAPD, it's you. Before fire department, paramedics, anybody, you're the first person gonna be dealing with whatever the emergency is. So yeah, it's real. Roles and duties and responsibilities of a security guard, they vary according to locations. Depending on where you at, depending on what company you work for, depending on what type of site it is, that determines everything as far as to go for what your day-to-day responsibilities will be. I did security for construction sites. You know what I did? I had to pull up in my truck, sit in my truck, sit out there all night and just watch the tools and the equipment, walk around and shine a light, make sure nobody's on the property. But then I also did hotel security. Had to wear a blazer. Had to be dressed like super neat. You understand? Didn't have an obligation to put my hands on nothing. It was a strictly observe and report site, that particular one, you know what I mean? And I did the clubs, man, and then that's a little more hands-on, you know, that's when you get your uniform a little dirty, you understand? But that's the way it get down. Different sites got different things. Let's take a look at this video. We're gonna get back into it.
Professional security officers are charged with protecting people and property from harmful events, such as fire, theft, vandalism, or natural occurrences. The property to be protected might include buildings and grounds, company assets, information and revenue. Typically, this work is carried out by patrolling, monitoring, observing, and reporting. Before an incident occurs, prevention and deterrence are always the primary goals. This is the first program in the Professional Security Officer series and is called Roles and Responsibilities. It is designed for personnel who work as or who are training to become professional security officers, those who are supervisors or employers of security officers, and those who are studying emergency management, security management, criminal justice, or homeland security. The program will show how professional security officers support a safe workplace and a secure facility, which at the same time is open, friendly, and welcoming. It will describe demeanor and ethical behavior as it pertains to professional security officers, crisis intervention, criminal and civil laws that pertain to security professionals, and interactions with public safety agencies during an incident will be examined.
Break it on down. Yes, sir. So, the overall responsibility of a security officer is to deter crime. Security officer's role is to prevent crime, to protect property and or lives, and to gather information or observe and report. Deterrent is what the main thing is. Most people that get a security officer or hire security agency to come and do security for their property, their site, is to deter crime. They figure if people just see the uniform, see the body standing there, walking around the building, patrolling, or see the vehicle parked out there, security logo across it, patrolling, for the most part, most petty criminals will see that and say, okay, well, they ain't messing around. You understand? But, you always got those others. But this is what the overall first step to try to, deter crime. You want to put the security officer on post and just hope that people seeing him is enough to say, man, we not going there. We're doing that no more. You understand? Most people, that's what they want. Prevention, unarmed prevention. How do you prevent crime unarmed? Is it even possible to prevent crime from happening and you don't have a weapon? Of course it is. There's techniques. There's steps, and we're going to get off into them. And if you follow these steps and pay attention and use your common sense, which is also very important, this is not a very difficult thing to do. 90% of your job is showing up on time, being neat and clean, and not taking no time off. Best methods for deterring crime unarmed. Presence, like we said. Most petty crimes, security officers placed on the scene. Nothing going on after that. I get a presence known, being clearly showing yourself, walking around with that patch on your shoulder, that badge around your neck, that security across your back, however they got you dressed in, walking around, just keep it moving around. Be on time, be in uniform, neat and clean, try to avoid absences, be hospitable and polite. Okay? Polite is very important. Respectful but assertive is security. Security is polite but assertive. You're gonna do your job. You got a job to do, but you ain't trying to be no idiot, no jerk. You just gotta, want to do your job. But you want to be as polite about doing your job as you can. You understand? But 90% of your job, be on time, be neat and clean. Very important as a security officer. Need to be neat, need to be clean, man. Don't come in there all dusty and twisted looking and, clothes all hanging off of you and shirt not tucked in and all that kind of stuff. Don't do that. You know what I mean? Try to be as neat and clean as possible. Try to stay well cut and all of that. People admire that about security because, see, you're not coming to do physical labor. You're not going to be moving tables and chairs around. You looking good means a lot to them. Just being there looking neat and clean in your uniform, that means a lot to them. So that's very important. And like I said, try not to call off, be on time. 90% of your job is done. 90%. Protection, protecting property and people, unarmed. How can you be effective? Well, that's very simple. Do not, and I repeat, don't be a day-day. Don't be a day-day. Don't be a day day. You know what happened? Somebody will split your head wide open, man. Top flight security of the world, Craig. Hey, man, don't go out there with that attitude. But please be more like Craig. Kick back, and like he said, I hope nothing don't happen the whole day. If you go through a whole day doing security and not have to talk to one person about any kind of policies or regulations of the property or the site, that's a hell of a good day. I'm not saying just be like a robot, don't talk to nobody. If all your conversations are just nice ones, pointing people in the directions they're trying, getting up to what they're trying to get to, and things like that, hey man, that's a good day. You know, made your money and it was nice and soft and quiet and no big deal, like them federal buildings in downtown Los Angeles. Well, you know, a little going on now, but man, I used to envy them security guards that worked up in them places like that. But no, don't be a day day, man. Ain't no turn down. Hey, you remember the movie? Y'all seen the movie? If you ain't seen the movie next Friday, you go watch the movie. You know, check out the movie. Next Friday after next. Check it out. You know, take a look. Because real talk, remember in the movie when he talked crazy to them old ladies and they sent their grandkids and their homies and stuff with? I've seen that happen on these jobs, man. Dudes will act stupid with somebody before you know it. 2 or 3 cars done pulled up looking for this dude. It can happen. Don't be a day day. This work can be dangerous. Like I said earlier, y'all see the security guard laid out on the sidewalk there? Yeah, it can happen, man. I'm not seeing security guards get knocked out. I'm not seeing security guards get their teeth knocked out. Not to mention, man, people done showed up and killed security guards over stuff they did. There used to be a swap meet on Central Avenue at 100 and, what was that, 105th? Yeah. Yeah, if you from watch, you know what happened up there. Then there's old Wilmington Arms in Compton. Old Goldie. If you from Compton, you know what happened there. And if you're not, Google Goldie, the name Goldie, and type in Wilmington Arms Compton with his name. I think he killed 5 guards in the guard shack. And up there, they caught them all in their sleep. At that chopper, I believe he's still in the pen for that. But yeah, you can't get the look, man, polite but assertive. You got a job to do, but be meek. Control yourself. Control your strength. You need to be cool, calm, and collected. This is hazardous work. You should be taking it lightly. Be careful. You want to go home to your family. Try to be kind to everybody. Don't be, no jerk. It's just a job, man. You know what I'm saying? Try not to put your hands on nobody. No shouting matches. Most employers don't like that. They don't need you to be a bigger problem than the problem that just came in the door. That's not cool. You know what I mean? And that's just real talk. I was out there all this time. I never got hurt. I didn't know no major serious injuries. None of that happened to me the whole time I was in the business. But that's because, like I said, I control myself. Cool, calm, and collective. They're not talking to you. They talking to the uniform. They going off. Yeah, security guard. Trust me. Let the gunshots start happening. Let something blow up. You become the most beloved savior to everybody. All of a sudden, hey, security. That same dude just cussed you out. And the little game maker dude, let his ops show up all of a sudden. Security! Trip me out. I used to be when I was working at swap meet, man. I had dudes that would be walking into the swap meet and they look like they together, 4-5 deep or whatever. And then as soon as they get in my building and walk past me, 2 or 3 a bang on the other ones. I'm like, I thought y'all was together. You know what I'm saying? Now we had a zero policy for game banging in our building. So anybody whoever the aggressor was, or whoever the what you call it offense was, whoever was, man, where you from, homie? You had to leave. Get out of my building, man. Zero tolerance for the banging. Cause see, we don't need nobody coming in our building doing no busting, no shooting it up. Swap meets were notorious for being shot up in LA. And I don't know no swap meet that didn't have armed guards. well, most properties had, jewelry stores. So they had most jewelry stores not going to be a jewelry store without no armed guards walking around. You understand? But yeah, man, this is just real talk. People can say what they want. I threw them out because you didn't come here to shop. You came here to bang, bro. Get out of my building. And why you wait till you came in front and got in the building and got in front of security to say something? That's like that just stinks of cowardice. You know what I'm saying? Same dudes, you throw them out that building, and if those dudes walked out with them, they didn't want to fight them. Because see, once you was out of that building, that's that city property, you wasn't my problem no more. Once you're on that city sidewalk, I don't care nothing about nothing no more. As long as you don't pull a gun and start shooting in front of me. But to keep it all the way 400, that's what LAPD told us. Once they on city property, not your concern. They are concerned. All right, officer. But as long as you get off my building, man, once you're out there, you're on your own. You understand? I mean, this is the life we chose. Hyman Roth. But yeah, this is dangerous work, man. So don't be no plaything. Protecting property and people unarmed. Best ways to protect is presence. Presence alone detours a lot of problems. So keep the security logo moving, the seal moving, constant patrols work very well when protecting property. Being alert and moving around the post is key to the protection. Most spots have code ones or minor incidents. You'll spot them as soon as possible if you're moving around, moving around, moving around. Greet people, be nice. Ask if they need help. Ask if they need assistance. Hello, ma'am. Good morning. How are you doing, sir? Hey, is there anything I can do for you, bro? I mean, don't go overboard, become a nuisance. But just let people know that you're not that kind of person. It's just a job. You're not here for that. Observe and report. This is the nerve center of security. Information gathering, maintaining a stern understanding of all things taking place on your site and around your posts. Communicate with your local law enforcement. Know that what division you're in, create a relationship with the watch commander, and you must be able to write a detailed report. Most companies want it. And if you want to do armed security, you really need to know what you're doing. Because if you're ever in a shooting, LAPD needs to get a report or whatever local. I mean, this is LA, like I said, other states, look up, find out how y'all do things there. When I was doing security, if you're shooting in anywhere in LA County, anywhere in Los Angeles, in the state of California, the local police department, whatever that station division is, they have to get a written report from you. Sacramento, who licenses you, the Bureau of Security Investigations, they got to get a report from you within 7 days. And your employer is supposed to have a written report from you. All three need to be written, distributed, and do that right away. If Sacramento say 7 days, that means do 7 days for everybody. That's what I would do. That's what I done. You know what I mean? I was in shootings, and then they're serious about that. They want their reports and everything. As long as you do it all, and law enforcement responded, and they didn't find you at fault or doing anything you weren't supposed to, you're good to go. You're good to go. But that's the thing. You are under the jurisdiction of law enforcement. We are the first responders, like I said earlier. Maintain a good relationship with all agencies in your direct area bordering your job. Call that local law enforcement, that police station when you get to work. Find out who the watch commander is that night. Speak with him directly. Let him know your security over at such and such. You're going to be going there from this time to this time, and you would like to be able to call him directly should there be an incident. You just want to get some kind of communication going. Of course, they're going to tell you that you need to respond. You need to call 911 should there be an incident. That is true, but create that relationship so you can do both. You can call the watch commander right away. Let him know what happened. He's going to tell you, okay, you told me, now call 911. Then you call 911. Or you call 911 first, give them the report, then immediately call the watch commander and let him know. Because whoever division you're doing work in is the station that's going to respond to whatever the code 1, code 2, code 3, whatever it is, they're going to be the ones responding. So get that communication going on, especially those parts of, man, when I was in LA, man, the little towns, Gardena, Maywood, Hawthorne, Torrance, Them police was so quick, man. You had real backup with them. LAPD was stretched out a little bit more thin. You know what I mean? They had way more territory to deal with, way more concentrated in certain areas. Wink, wink. So it was different. You know, they areas was different. You would have to wait a minute before the 5.5s would show up, but in those smaller towns, man, those little independent incorporated towns, like I said, get that relationship going with they watch commanders and they captains and everything. It's gonna blow you away and how much they'll respond to what you need. But this way, you can answer all this and then any questions swiftly, organized, minimize the chance of any the outcome being more serious. You know what I mean? You want to be decent and in order as possible, as cool, common, and collective as possible. You got to transmit or debrief information to people in emergency situations. You understand? You are the first responder. It could be a shooting, it could be a lost child, it could be a bad fight, a stabbing, anything like that. You understand? And you the person that they're gonna be expecting to have the information. And the better you are at debriefing them, and the better you are at responding to the situation in the proper capacity, the more you guarantee the security of your job. Because that's what the client hired you for, and that's gonna make them want to keep you there. And that's what they're gonna tell your boss, "Hey, we want that guy." Trust me, I done been there and done that. Let's take a look at this video real quick.
Professional security officers regularly respond to accidents and incidents in the facilities they protect. Typically, they are first on the scene in these events. They must take control and activate emergency procedures, making notifications, calling for assistance, and taking actions to secure the facility. Security officers must take proactive steps to prevent further harm and interact with responding public safety agencies. Disasters can occur with little or no warning. Natural disasters strike each year, causing hundreds to thousands of deaths and injuries, billions in property damage, countless financial losses, and social disruption. Sometimes there is advance warning, even days before the event strikes. With other events like tornadoes and earthquakes, there may be little or no warning. Fires can break out. A hazardous material spill can release toxic substances. Gun violence can occur. Terrorists may strike without warning. No matter what kind of incident, no matter what the hazards involved, an organization's emergency managers must take steps to protect those within the facility. Knowing what to do when faced with an emergency can mean the difference between calm.
Just think about it. All of the things you're seeing in this video, security is the first responder. You're responsible for a lot of time for making sure that the proper authorities even get the information. Okay, let's get back into it.
And chaos, life and death. Failure to respond adequately could result in injuries, loss of life, and potential lawsuits and penalties for gross negligence. This is the third program in the Professional Security Officer series and is called Handling Emergencies. It is designed for personnel who work as or who are training to become professional security officers, those who are supervisors or employers of security officers, and those who are studying emergency management, security management, criminal justice, or homeland security. The program will examine emergency management and describe the role of the incident command system in managing emergencies. It will look at the two approaches to protective actions and list the duties of professional security officers when responding to fires, hazardous materials releases, bomb threats, and workplace violence.
You slapped the shit out of her. But yeah, man, all of that kind of stuff is your responsibility. What you gonna do is security, somebody slap somebody right in front of you. You understand? What will be the first thing? What will be what will be the steps of the uses of force? You understand? Reporting events and incidents precisely, knowing who, what, when, and where. This is essential. You want to be able to describe these things, like I said, as decent and as order in order as possible. You want to try to be as professional as possible. Suspects was last seen headed southbound on Broadway. I seen him stop at the northeast corner, and suspect was wearing black jeans. He had on gray shoes. He had a gray hoodie, and he had on a black hat tilted to the side. Suspect had dreads. He was about 5'5", probably about 200 to 180 to 200 pounds. He was a Caucasian male or black male, and you know these things. This is all the stuff they're gonna want to know, and you would like they like it when they don't have to ask you. If you're able to run it down, and all they got to do is ask you to repeat certain things, it makes it more sufficient. It makes it more sufficient. It makes it where everybody can get to work faster. Sufficiency is so important when dealing with emergency response. Speed plays a it plays a tremendous role with dealing with emergency response, because you're dealing with people possibly losing their lives, dealing with possible, destruction of property, stuff like that. So yeah, man, paying close attention to detail from clothing worn to colors and cars, plates, logos, etc. And having the ability to debrief need to know officials professionally and promptly. This is very important. Like I said, this is what they're paying you for. We're not obligated by law to make an arrest. We're not peace officers. Peace officers have to arrest you if you commit a crime in front of them. It's an issue if they don't. Security guards are not obligated. Security guards the security guard power to arrest is no different than the average everyday civilian. Citizens arrests. You may detain a person for law enforcement for committing a crime in your presence if it's a misdemeanor, and if it's a felony, you don't have to see it. If people tell you what the person did, you could take the person into custody, or you could detain them until law enforcement shows up. And that don't necessarily mean you have to touch them. That don't necessarily mean you have to handcuff them. We did that back in the day. A lot of these companies don't want you touching nobody. And like I said earlier, you don't necessarily just want to go putting your hands on people. People have diseases, body lice, Ebola, COVID. You know what I mean? You don't want to just go putting your hands on people. What's that other one? Hepatitis is bodily fluid. There's a lot of diseases, terrible diseases that are transferred through bodily fluid. They don't have to necessarily be spit or blood. It could be sweat. You know what I mean? It could be skin cells. You never know. You know what I mean? So just keep your hands off of people. We kept the little pouch with the latex gloves on our belts. You know what I'm saying? Most of us did that. Shouts out to Willie Broham. We did that. But the thing is, hey, I'm not looking forward to touching nobody. You know what I mean? I'll put out that pepper spray for you before I do anything. But even in those situations, like I said, depends on the company, depends on the site, depends on what their policies are, what they want, and how they want you to enforce things. Swap meets, anything went up in them swap meets. You know what I'm saying? So it was different up in there. But transits, a lot of times they're going to be your biggest problem, because they don't care about, all right, call the police. Oh, yeah, y'all don't care. Call the police. And we didn't have them issues, man. Most of my jobs, those are the problems we had, like homeless and transit people. They tend to be the biggest issue. Second runner up, the gangsters, the bangers. A lot of times when you mention PD, or they think you're on the phone talking to PD and you calling off and naming off what they wearing, they're going to get out your face. But those transits, not too quick, not too easy for them. They got all day. They ain't got nothing better to do. So we'll get off into these uses of force, the 5 levels of force, when and how to apply them effectively, and more importantly, what legally. Like I just said, your authority to quote unquote arrest or detain is no different than the average citizen's arrest powers. You understand? You use excessive force to call yourself arresting somebody, you can end up in some serious trouble. You understand? Depending on what they done did, though. You understand? I mean, hey, they did the right thing. You caught them molesting a child and you walked in on them, you know what I'm saying, or something serious like that. Use the necessary force, but only the necessary force. That don't mean excessive force. You get them down, you can put them in some kind of hold and hold on to them and keep them that way till they can get law enforcement there. Perfect. But you don't want to have to do nothing too extreme. You don't want the person dead when the police pull up and show up. You know what I'm saying? Especially not in Cali. Levels of force. Level one, we talked about that. Officer presence, just me in there, just showing up. Level two, voice commands. What I said earlier about meekness, light but assertive, knowing how to use your tone and your words and your manners to neutralize a problem. You know what I'm saying? It works perfect sometimes. Sometimes it's to, hey, excuse me, hey, what's going on here? Okay, how can I help? Sometimes, excuse me, hey, what's going on? Hey, you know what I mean? It's depending on the situation and the condition of what's happening. It depends on your level of how you got to go in there with the voice commands. But voice commands, then it's soft tactics. We're dealing with grabbing, arm bars, wrist locks, restrainment, physical restraint, possibly some OC pepper spray, you know what I mean, if necessary. But these are soft tactics. Then you got to your harder tactics, and for level 5, finally, is the last use, the last level, deadly force. Okay, we're gonna get into some what would you do in this situation. What would you do? Methods you would take to deal with this code one, this particular code one.
Car 313. Suspicious person in the area of 311 South LaSalle Street. Attempt to locate a white male wearing a long sleeve gray shirt and jeans. Same possibly suffers from mental problems, wandering around in the complex parking lot. Complainant will be a third-party caller, none to contact. They did advise suspect does not live in the area.
Sir, can I talk to you for a minute? It's Officer Bond with the Durham Police Department. You okay
Tired of
today?
people always messing. Huh?
Why don't you come out here and talk to me for a
Nothing
minute?
to say to you. What the hell are you?
You all right today? Why don't you come out here where I can see you, sir?
Well, what do you want?
Are you all right? We got a call out here.
I don't like all these questions. I don't appreciate it.
Well, I need to make sure you're all right.
I got nothing to say to you. You don't let me alone, I'm gonna kick your ass.
Are you
I
out here
ain't
visiting
bullshitting
somebody,
either.
or
I
do
ain't
you live here?
bullshitting you, huh?
Are you out?
You don't leave me alone, I'm gonna kick your ass. Threat of violence off the back. Pay attention to the body movement. Pay attention to the tone. Pay attention to the words coming out of the suspect's mouth. Try to maintain distance. Pay attention to the officer. This may be a police officer, but the situation she's dealing with, the code one, it will be exactly the same for you as a security officer. Okay?
Here visiting, or do you live here?
None
Or?
of your damn business where I'm from.
Okay. Well, what's going
Come
on
out
today?
here, been out here a while, minding my own damn business. What you need?
Are you all right though?
I'm fine.
Okay.
I
Do you need a
nothing
ride
from you.
somewhere?
I'm telling you, I'm gonna kick your ass. I don't like questions. Tired of people talking shit to me. I don't appreciate it. I ain't from around here. I done told you.
Okay, calm down, sir. It'll be all right. Stay right there for me.
Fuck you. I ain't got time to
Stay
kick
right.
Ooh-wee. How do we deal with this, folks? What would be the best tactics? Honestly, I think the officer was doing very well. She maintained a polite tone, and she only offered assistance. She continued to just try to offer assistance, but the suspect became more and more aggressive. His body movement became more aggressive. His tone and his words became more, negative. And she did one thing I definitely like that she did is she maintained distance. Every time he took a step, she took a step back. She knew she was by herself. You understand? And she know he's a man and she's a woman. That's what I said about common sense. Common sense plays a role. If somebody's doing something in your building and they 300 something pounds and you ain't but 160, you understand? And I wouldn't recommend running up and just trying to tackle them. You know what I mean? You walk up and try to be as polite as you can, talk polite as you can, and make sure that, hey, this is what I tell my trainees when I do trainings nowadays. You want to use hands-free equipment for communication. You need to have an earpiece in your ear so that you can call PD and be talking to them and also being fit using your hands if you have to. 90% of your job showing up on time, being neat and clean, try not to call off. But then you got that other 10% where you might get some dirt on your uniform. You dig? You got that 10% where you may actually have to do your job. You understand? So that being said, you got to be smart and you got to use common sense. She kept maintaining distance from him, and no matter how much nastier he got, she just kept being polite to him. She tried to be as polite as she could. Control your strength, meekness above all things. Meekness, like the scriptures say about my ancestor Moshe, who y'all call Moses. He was meek above all things. Moses snapped a man's neck and buried him in the sand. Keep it 400. It was not a punk. None of the apostles or the prophets were to keep it 400. But that's how you got to be in your security business. They're not talking to you. They're talking to the uniform. All that nastiness. I done had people call me every name you can think of. I done had people talk about my dead mother. I done went through all of that doing this business. It gives you get leather skin doing this because, yeah, you got to be able to take the verbal abuse. You understand? And maintain discipline, control your strength. I wore a pistol on each hip. I never accidentally or had no kind of weird shootings and no stuff like that, man. You understand? Because you got to, hey, you know it's coming with the job. So you need to, this ain't the day. It's ain't for you if you one of those hypertension type people. You understand? Level 1, officer presence. We went over this, so we ain't going to spend too much time on it. Just being there. I see you. Visibility is crucial to neutralizing most possible disruptions. Stay in the eye of the public like an Ali jab. You know, that Ali jab. Keep them thinking, right? It might land, it might be flush, but it might not. But you not going to be able to focus on what you're trying to do because I'm studying. I'm in your face. Every time you look up, there he is. I ain't saying stand over nobody. I ain't saying be so close to a person where you're breathing their air and breathing down their neck. I'm just saying maintain minimum safe distances and keep these them shades. That earpiece in that ear, keep them shades on, baby. You don't want nobody knowing what you're looking at. Any company say they don't want you wearing shades, hey man, tell me when I got trained, they told me it's a good thing. It's part of security because nobody can keep it out there. You don't need people knowing what you're watching, which is true. And that go for whatever kind of criminal you're dealing with, from the petty little thief to the real time guy, serious criminal that's going to try something real. You don't want him knowing that you're watching him. You don't want him knowing that you're watching him. So yeah, be seen, man. That whole presence, see that stance with the hands locked and all that. Man, I was an expert at that stance. Level 2, verbal persuasion. Kind words turn away wrath. Thus saith the Most High God. Oh, there it is right there. Kind words turn away wrath. Be respectful. Be respectful, but assertive. I keep saying that. No name calling, no cussing. Control your strength. No matter what people say to you, you can't get on their level because, like I said, clients don't like that. They don't want you shouting with nobody going back and forth. They calling you all kinds of B words, this and that. You throwing the same thing back. No, that's not professional, yo. Try to look. One thing you don't do: you're in uniform. You're at work. You're not on the street. You ain't in the neighborhood or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I ain't saying everybody's that kind of person, but I'm just saying this ain't that. Like I told you, when people talking crazy, they talk to the uniform. It's sir, it's ma'am. It's I'm sorry. Anything else I can do? I'm sorry, sir. I can't let you do that, sir. Sir, I'm gonna have to call PD and get PD up here. You're gonna have to discuss it with him. You know what I'm saying? Polite, no matter what. Try to bring the issue. Try to bring issues to a positive end. You want to de-escalate. You know what I'm saying? You don't want nobody involved. That go for your client or the general public. You don't want nobody getting hurt or going to nothing. You want to jail, none of that. I can't tell you, man. I'm keeping it 400. And when I was doing the business, if I put handcuffs on you, you got to talk to the police. You can't whine and cry. You know, man, I just was having a bad day, man. You don't understand, man. So much been going on. I tell all my guards the same thing, man. You put handcuffs on somebody, they don't come off till PD get there. If you have to use your pepper spray, you gotta get PD up there, man, because you got to make sure that nobody can try to say you did nothing wrong. And one way to cover your ass with that is to have PD come down, do a full investigation on the entire incident, and them tell you, don't worry, man, you good. because that officer is your proof that you didn't violate your job. You didn't violate nobody's rights. You didn't do nothing outside of the scope of what your job is. And I got to be honest with you. A lot of times we used to have to arrest people. When PD would get there, they would be angry. They would be pissed off because they be feeling like the people, you still here? Like if you there, because they know how long it take them to get to a call. And if they show up and they know security made the call and you still there, they be upset about that. I can't count if I counted if I had a dime or nickel for every time I heard a police officer tell a dude why you didn't just leave when security told you. I mean, I'd be a rich dude because that's the first thing come out their mouth. You done made them have to. You done drew them away from dealing with more serious crime to come deal with you. The security industry, the security guards are a filtration device to the police department. They filter the sewage. They deal with the bottom, the worst. The security industry is dealing with that part of the criminal justice the criminal justice industry that nobody in the industry really wants to deal with. That go for police, prosecutors, judges. They don't want to deal with the transit. They don't want to deal with the dude who just said he ain't got to leave. I ain't even though you tell him he's trespassing. They really don't want to deal with that. So if they actually have to come behind a trespassing to trespass you, they're not going to be happy. And the first thing they're going to want is your ID. And you better not have no warrants. I promise you. I didn't see them take people for petty stuff. But that's when they turn on sprinklers when we put them handcuffs on. They're like, oh, man, just let me go, man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But it's a rule. And I'm saying this to anybody that's thinking about getting into this business. You put handcuffs on somebody, PD got to come down there. If you touch somebody, period, get PD down there. If you pepper spray somebody, get PD down there. Whether the person left or not, get them down there and do a report. So the person can't go to the station and give the police department some lie and make it sound like you violated their rights. Because trust me, PD gonna show up. They got to talk to you too. They got a job to do. If there's a possible crime, reasonable articulate suspicion, as they say, they got to at least come out and ask you some questions. You know what I mean? I've been through it. Maintaining self-control while controlling hostiles, using words to keep order and resolve issues. Ma'am, sir, I'm sorry. How can I help you? Talking down the situation. Try to maintain cool, calm, and collected. The voice of reason. If this fails, that will initiate the next level of force. You understand? I can't say this enough. I can't say this enough. Don't be Day-Day. Don't. It's not this business ain't no place for that, man. It's guards that done lost their lives, man. You know what I mean? There was this one guard that was doing security at a strip club. They got rough with some dudes, threw him out the building or whatever, like tripped on him real hard in Gardena. And people probably remember this story. It made the news. And he jumped on that 91. He jumped on the freeway, left the club after they closed down. The armed guards, they walk out with him. Everybody walk out together, and they just jump in their cars and they leave. But the thing about it is, he was dealing with some real ones that night. You know what I'm saying? Some real ones that some of those real not gonna let it go type. No, man. When that wait till he get off. And they stayed there and they waited. And when he got off, they didn't do nothing to him in front of those armed guards who are paid to protect him and use lethal force to stop you from using lethal force to kill him. They're legally allowed to do that. No, they waited until everybody pulled off and they followed him all the way to the 91 freeway. They didn't shoot him until he got to the 91 freeway. They shot him and they killed him. His last thing he was able to do is his car. When his car lost control and hit the embankment or whatever, he was able to call 911 and tell him he had been shot. But by the time they got to him, he was dead. You know what I mean? This is a serious day. People play games, man. You can get hurt out here doing this. You understand? Well, guard do stuff too. Like I said, I've been in shootings, man. I shot at people. I mean, I had everything coming through my build. I had Hoovers, Main Streets, Broadways, 8-7s, 8-Trays, Swans, everything coming through there. Raymonds, Grapes, Hoses. I had one of them buildings that was just in one of those hubs where, hey, nigga need a t-shirt. I want to watch my language. A dude need a t-shirt, you know what I'm saying? He finna stop by here and get one. He finna, he's jewelry king. He gonna stop right here. He trying to get a new hat. He gonna stop right here. The Stitch Man is up in here. He doing everybody Hood Day stuff. Man, we used to have to tell them dudes to take the rags off and all of that because we got a zero tolerance for banging. They used to be hot. Coming in on their hood day with their little, their little outfits on, with their hoods blasted all on. Hey, man, you got to take the flag off, put it back in your car. What? What? Hey, you heard what I said, man. We got a zero tolerance for banging. We don't need nobody coming in here seeing you and wanting to do something to you and making us have to do our job. I'd rather stay out of that and let y'all do whatever y'all gonna do to each other. But me and these other innocent people walking around in here, they don't deserve to get put in no cross behind you and your folly. And that was my real thought process back then. Aggressively. You know what I'm saying? Hey, just that's how it was. And like I said, there'll be a day. I wasn't one. I was trying, like I said, I was more like Cube. If you can go through the whole day and not have nothing happen and not have to say not one word to anyone about what the policies is of the store, man, you can't do that in here. You know, the little kids coming in riding their little scooters, they little shoes with the wheels in the heel. They went in there riding and sliding on scooters. Got signed at every door saying no bikes, no scooters, no roller skates, all of that. But they come in there with they ratchet mothers and they don't ride. Hey man, he can't ride that. Why not? He ain't even doing nothing. Yeah, man. You got to be ready for that, and you can't be a day. You got to deal with that, man. Yeah, don't be a day. Show of force is another tactic that works very well. If words are not effective enough, call in backup. It helps when more security officers converge on a possible serious incident. Strength in numbers is a proven tactic. Bro, let me tell you, if it's them going down in that building and this dude tripping, or him and his homie, they tripping, and you get on that radio, hey man, I need y'all to 1087 my location. I got a code 2, possible 3. And all those guards get to coming from different places, walking up different aisles all of a sudden, surrounding them. It's a wonderful feeling. When they look around and say, oh, wait a minute, it's not going to be as simple as we thought. No, it's not. It'll always be the smallest guard that call in all the big dudes. They don't be knowing the big guards are part of the detail. It'll be a little dude. Man, I'll stump you. We'll stump your little ass. Hey man, can you guys get to 1087 the front entrance? I got some guys over here, possible code 1. You know, and then the 6 foot fools get to hit in the corner. Oh, yeah, they will. They all wear the same uniform. No, very important, man. Hey, that short force works like a charm, baby. Level 3, soft tactics, minimum use of force, right? AC pepper spray, wrist locks, arm bars, and takedowns. Like I said before, these are to be applied when other means have failed, and order must be retained. You use necessary force, like I said earlier, necessary force only to detain the suspect. Remember, a security officer is not obligated to detain a person or make an arrest. Didn't I say that? This is real talk. You understand? Because, man, don't be no fool. Don't be no fool. And I was with my boys, man. Hey, man, me and my guys back in the day, honest to God, my man Scales, my boy Dame, my man Willie Broham, honest to God, we didn't care how big you was. We'll take your ass down. You know what I'm saying? But we had the right squad for that. You understand what I'm saying? You know what I mean? But if you by yourself and I'm looking 6'6", solid, built like mahogany, man. Like I said, common sense. You're not obligated. Keep that in mind, man. Level 4, hard tactics. Let's get in a little A when you just might have to go there. Ooh, y'all see people carry them, right? Collapsible ones, different kinds. Batons. An increase in physical force, including baton use. Check it out, man. In LA in particular, it's not a joke. Don't carry a baton if you're not licensed. You get the training for the baton license. What I understand, you never have to do it again. It's not something you have to renew. Once you take the training, you get the permit, you keep it for life. The thing about it is you have to take the training because there's only certain places you're allowed to strike on the body, and you have to know what your state regulations is considering these safe or what considered safe blows, because anything excessive is subject to prosecution. Trust me, the police ain't got no issues putting handcuffs on you, especially when you're armed, because you got a lot of police that don't like seeing anybody carry guns except them. And if you get in trouble, you lose that gun permit. You can't do this no more. You got nasty police out there that want to see that get taken away from you. They don't care if that's how you feed your family. They don't care. You know what I'm saying? They don't care that you are a first responder and you do your part to help them do their job. They don't care. They just nasty like that. I done ran into them, man. I got pulled out of my car in full uniform, body armor on all. They told me to get on my knees. I got pistols on my head. You're on your knees. You touch that weapon, you will be shot. You understand? Damn, dude, I'm a security guard. Who are you looking for? You understand? But no, real talk, man. You don't be just thinking just because you wear a uniform and they wear one that they're your friend. Because no, man, no. Police can legally lie to you, man. Supreme Court says so. You better be careful out there. Best times to use more force or intense force: self-defense, prevent escape. Now, if it's an escape, I would hope it is a person that committed a felony and not a misdemeanor. Prevent injury. Somebody really seriously trying to hurt somebody, you may have to really take them down and really take them down. And to suppress a disturbance. You got several people trying to fight. You might have to get between them, and there's going to be some people getting slung around. And yeah, I've had all that. I've seen all that on my job. He's working the club on Santa Monica. We had the bouncers on the inside, armed guards on the outside, but because you don't walk around, and most security companies don't let armed guards walk through crowds of people. Somebody will snatch your gun. But yes, we worked outside. We had bouncers on the inside. We had a guy get to tripping in the club one day. Somebody touched his wife or something. And when I tell you the bouncers, it was about 9 of those guys. They all picked him up in the air over their head and carried him out of there like he was one of those like he was swimming the ocean like the rock stars do. And he up there kicking and wiggling. He's a Latino guy, but he's up there kicking and wiggling and trying to get down there. He couldn't get off. He couldn't get down for nothing. He didn't get put on. The crazy part, they brought him outside and just sat him down. They just sat him on his feet nice and politely. They didn't toss him. They didn't throw him. So they put him on the street. You're good now. And he, of course, he mad. He want to go back in the club. Plus his woman, where his wife. The next thing they know, she came strolling out because he tried to go back in there. Hey man, you can't go back in there. And his girl come out, and once she came out, she tried to calm him down. He still didn't want to calm down. The bouncers go back in. We armed. We standing out there. We got the blazers on and stuff, the suits and shit. We standing out there. He's still tripping. But this particular club, one thing I like about those clubs, man, some of those bigger clubs, it'd be a lot of off-duty PD doing security. Yeah, man, you got a lot of off-duty police officers that do security. It's extra money for them. Plus, they're peace officers and they're not security officers. You know what I'm saying? You'll mess around and get surprised. And it happened to me. Happened to me that night. We had my motorcycle patrol and everything for that club. It was a big club. It was on Santa Monica Boulevard. It popped. So it was one club in the front and one in the back. So it was 2 different clubs. So you had probably about 1,000 people, at least 500-600 people every night, man, just, showing on their club nights. It would be packed out, super traffic, hard to get in and out. So we needed all this extra manpower. And the dude was still tripping. And I'll never forget, it was this big old white boy named Mike. Did security for us. He was a motorcycle patrolman, but he was an actual cop. And the dude didn't want to calm down. When I tell you, Mike grabbed him and twisted him up so fast, and we had them handcuffs out so quick. Before I could even try to grab him and with Mike and try to restrain him, whatever, he had already put him against the wall. But that's the training. Your police they got different training. The way he moved him, it was like automatic, like fluid almost. He grabbed that wrist, twisted it. He turned around immediately. He started shoving him to the wall. It was so fast. But training, baby. Training and experience, man, plays a big role. But yeah, man, we got them off-duty PDs out there with us too. I mean, we went to an apartment building one time, and the security was on us tough, and they was two white boys, and they had jar cuts. They looked like Marines. But they had security uniforms on. But we drove up in the apartment building up underneath in the bottom parking lot. We in Hawthorne. A lot of cars get stolen. We in the white colors. Me and the homie Sweet Rue, rest in peace. Man, we rolled up in there, man, and before we get to park, we had my brother twice. Twilight House. Before we get to Park Good, they was already down there. One came through the automatic gate, the other one came through the building. And they came up on both sides of us. And hey, where you guys? Ooh, we looking at me, fuck ass security. They were sheriffs. Both of them was deputies. They was just doing security. That's why they had them damn jar cuts. A lot of sheriffs are ex-Marines. You know, it's LA County. You know what I mean? They came down to check us out. They just wanted to see our ID. They didn't run us or nothing, but they didn't tell us right away that they was sheriffs until after they checked us out. And like, man, we say, hey, no, man, we're not staying around. You think we're security guards? No, man, we're deputies, man. Like, man, my boy Sweet's like, man, I was wondering because y'all got them haircuts. I was like looking at y'all haircuts. Like, yeah, man, we're deputies, man. We just, this I pay my fucking child support, man. This I get my money for my child support. We had a little laugh with them or whatever. But nah, man, yeah, law enforcement be out there, man, doing that security. Get that extra money. Try to avoid a one-on-one. Get back up to detain a combative patron. Use necessary force only. Excessive force is subject to prosecution. Try to avoid the one-on-ones. Try to not, if it's just you, try not to be trying to, you don't want to be getting physical with nobody. You know what I mean? It's not like this is your home and they in there and you really have to do something. No, you're not obligated to make an arrest. You know what I'm saying? They really want to trip. Assess the situation, use common sense, get on that phone, start talking to PD, give them the description of the dude, what he wearing, or whatever they wearing, where they going, what car they got, what the license. Trust me, in most cases, if they so-called gangsters, they start trying to get away from you because you're getting up too much information. So where if they hit us, they real gangsters, they'll do some gangster shit. But the fact that you're giving up their information, or if they do it, now they might be out here hitting corners looking for us. We don't need them to run into us before we can get somewhere and change these clothes and all that. They use their heads. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I had everybody. 9-4 Hoovers, 8-7s, Grapes, Coasts, Main Streets, and a lot of these hoods was beefing. That's the crazy part. Come right in my field to get the fighting, man, on everything, dude. Just keeping it 400, man. But, we had a few situations. We had a youngster get shot in front of us. We had to do a girl get shot in front of us. Don't get me wrong. I returned fire in them situations. But in one of them situations, when the youngster got shot, I couldn't do nothing about it. I didn't have no clear vision on the suspects or anything. I just know they popped him and he fell. But in other situations where I could return fire, I did. You know what I'm saying? But the thing about it is, hey, yo, like I keep saying, this business is weird. And then in those situations, man, police take your firearm. I had to pay to get it back. And they put me through a lot of crap, dude. It make you never want to pull that gun and use it again. Baton usage. Do not carry a baton at all without proper training and certification. You must know the guidelines according to the state and local laws and where to strike on the person, where it's allowed to strike a person's body, human body. This is a serious and caution must be observed. See the picture of my brother Rodney King, man. From what I understand, the strikes are only supposed to be on the thighs where you have lots of muscle. You're not supposed to whack the arm. You're not supposed to whack the face, the head. None of that. They was just busting this dude all over the place, man. Beat the hell out this dude, man. It's amazing he didn't die. I know people say it was because of the PCP, the SHRM. It might be true. That PCP and that SHRM ain't no joke. But no, real talk, man. This is why you need to know what you're doing with them batons. And from what I understand, California, if I ain't mistaken, if you get caught with a firearm, when you get caught with a baton without permit, it could be a felony charge, from what I understand. So yeah, man, be careful out there. What the heck is that sound? Well, coming back, why we search for weapons. This video I put in here just as a caution to show you guys type of things that can happen. Security officers search for weapons. When we detain a person, we do pat downs for weapons, not for drugs, not for paraphernalia for drugs, not for anything else. Narcotics and stuff like that is the responsibility of law enforcement. We deal with the pat down for firearms and other weapons of such because a person can potentially still be very dangerous even though they're in custody. As security officers, we only search for firearms, only for weapons, knives, clubs, sticks, stuff like that. Drugs and all that stuff, not our concern. Let's take a look at this video and y'all tell me what y'all think.
Yeah, you can go. Hold on. Venga, señor. Oh, fuck.
Check that shit out.
Where did we get it? Nobody shook him. Holy fuck.
Check that shit out. He is very dead.
Damn it.
He is very dead. The dude pulled a gun out in a police station and shot himself. They tried to shoot the police and shoot his way out. Killed himself, man. You think they saw that coming? You think they figured that was about to happen? This world is crazy, dude. But yeah, this is why we search for weapons. You know what I mean? That go for girls too. You use the back of the hand or whatever, but your trainer, your company, they'll give you the breakdowns, logistics on how they perform searches or what they do and how they take care of them out. But yeah, this is why we search for weapons, folks. Level 5, deadly force. All other means have failed. Right? You went through the steps, step by step, and you got to this one. You understand? Show of personnel with weapons. Exposed firearm permits are required in most states to work as an armed security officer. This is a powerful deterrent in most cases, in many cases. People see that gun, it's not like seeing an unarmed guard. People see that gun, they see those extra magazines. It's not like seeing a security guard that just got some handcuffs and some pepper spray, if that. You understand? They see that chunky Glock 21 at 4.5. They see that chunky 38 or that 357, even though I don't think nobody carries 6-shooters no more. But they see that Beretta. Most people carry Glocks, though. But I know that's what I carried when I was doing security. I had a Glock 21 on my right side, and I had a 9mm Sigma as a backup. Yes, sir. You know what I mean? Just because you never know. Like I said, my overall goal was to go home. You understand? One thing I agree with, and one thing I got to say is when it comes to firearms, security in the state of California, that's where I did my business at. That's where I worked at. So I can pretty much give you much of the breakdown expertise for that state. Other states are different. But the state of California, not supposed to shoot to kill. You only can shoot when you qualify or when you requalify for the torso, center mass. No headshots. There was a guy that his girlfriend's mom was fighting with the stepdad. And the stepdad pulled out a knife and started stabbing the mother right in front of the daughter. The daughter jumped in. The man started swinging and cutting on her. So the boyfriend took his gun, walked up, shot the dude in the head. He got charged with first-degree murder in the state of California. Self-defense in California is a very tricky thing to try to use as a defense because there's so much restriction on being able to defend yourself in the state of California. Even for security officers, you don't see a firearm, I wouldn't even touch mine. Just putting your hand on the handle or just resting your hand on the gun could be considered brandishing. All you gotta do is run across the right jerk that want to be an asshole. And he can secretly, you don't have to say that to you. He can quietly go call the police, wait, police get there, just bring him up to you. This guy here, he was standing here, every time I look at him, he's grabbing his gun. I don't appreciate it. And they'll be looking at, man, what's he talking about? I mean, I ain't even grab my gun. What the hell he talking about? I even noticed this dude, man. But every time I look at you, man, you know you did it, man. It's crazy how people get loud with security when they call police on security. I had a woman call the police on me when I was doing security. Like I said, I wore those shades, and she came in the building. She had a grandson with her, and it always happens. The little kids, especially the little boys, they want to touch the gun. Most of us in the hood, we grew up seeing them already at a young age, or if not, it could be from cartoons or a TV show. We just, as little boys, there's something about our little testicular fortitude that just make us drawn to a firearm. But I can't tell you how many little hands I done smacked the hell out of. Because I'm wearing the shades, they often would look up at me to see if I'm watching, if I see them. Then they'll try to touch them. And most of the time when kids was around, I would be watching them if they got too close to me just to see if they're going to try to touch it. Guns are not toys. That's not a toy. It's not a plaything. So I would pop the, I would put some sting on it too. Best I could. Crack right across them knuckles. Pow. And that's what happened to her grandson when he touched my gun. Wow. Hey, don't touch that. That's dangerous. I know you didn't just hit my grandson. Woman, I know your grandson didn't just touch this firearm. This is a gun. It's loaded, hot, ready to go. He got no business putting his hands on it. You don't touch my damn grandson. Ma'am, you and your grandson don't have to come here. If you got an issue with that, you should be happy that somebody is making sure he understands. He was probably about 7 or 8. Smacked the hell out of his little hand in front. Ooh, a gun, and touched it. Wow. Little bad touch that. Toy. I don't care. Look, ma'am, if you got firearms in your house and you don't got no problem with him playing with them, that's your home. He not gonna touch him. He not gonna touch it. No armed security guards firearm in this building. At that point I was the head of security. They don't touch none of my guards' guns. They ain't cool. They ain't all right. She said a little piece, did a little shopping, left. Probably about a week later, detectives show up at my job. 2 of them. Not uniform, detectives. You know what I'm saying? Looking for me. Didn't know my name, but was up there looking for me. And when I tell you they were very apologetic, but nonetheless they had, like I said earlier, they had to do their job. They were very apologetic, but they came up there because they had to come and do some kind of report on what happened. And they had to hear my side because they said the lady kept coming to their station and kept on complaining about the incident. Like, making y'all gonna do something about this. He can't touch my grandson. I wonder what the hell her grandson doing right now. If I could be a fly on the wall. Little bastard, probably in prison. Now, forgive me, I don't mean that. I'm just saying this is where that comes from, though. You know what I'm saying? People like that making sure kids don't receive no discipline, even when they really, really, really need it. You know what I mean? People like that, man. But yeah, they got at me like, no, sir, we just had to come because the lady just kept coming. Our lieutenant said we need to come and do a report. So what happened? Thank God my partner was there when it happened, and the OG homie Smitty from Rising Sons, co-founder of the Rising Sons, when they was across the street back then. Man, my buddy Smitty was there when it happened, and my partner was there when it happened. So I had 2 witnesses, and both of them was like, well, we was here, and he touched the gun. He just smacked his hand away, man. He told him not to touch that. What happened? Well, man, this is girl. I'm like, wait a minute. She went to say what? But like I said earlier, people are quietly go trying to tell the police on you, thinking that they can get you in some kind of trouble. They, like I said, they were very apologetic. They was 2 of the nicest cops I ever met. You know what I'm saying? 2 white boys, and they was real cool. They was like, man, we had to come, bro. We just had to come do it so we can take the bug, go back to our commanding officer and tell him, look, we talked to the guy. It's unfounded. Nothing happened. You know what I mean? Cause I'm like, man, what would y'all do, man? Y'all police, I know y'all done had kids try to touch. No, man, really, it happens. And hey, I'm not mad at what you did. I understand why you did it. He got at me like, look, they police, they know from a lot of time they are dealing with the public. And if there's a lot of little kids around, you going to get that one who think it's all right to touch the damn gun. And if you do any kind of armed security, police, any of that, you're very protective of your firearm. It's a reflex almost where your forearm and everything are shielded. I turn my body so right now I practice. I do open carry. So even when I'm out and I'm open carry, man, hey, you certain mannerisms you done develop from just doing that. I turn my body away. I put my gun between me and the counter when I'm in the store or something. If somebody walks up, I turn the weapon away from wherever they're standing. You know what I'm saying? And it's just a natural reflex. It becomes one. You understand? Because I know guards that done got their guns took off of them. More than one. You know what I mean? It can happen. I remember the little dude from 18th Street. His name was Junior. He did the security. He did the tattoos. He was like, my homies was getting at me, man. Like, man, what about those guards up there? They come up there, take their pistols. He's like, cause that's how they get a lot of the clean guns that they get. Like speaking as 18th Streets, like a lot of the clean guns they get with no murders, nothing on them, no files, serial numbers, none of that. Like we get them for security guard. We go to somebody, some big building, some store, armed guards there. We'll snatch their guns and run. You know what I'm saying? He's like, that's how we get pistols. He said, well, he's getting at my homies was getting at me because they was like, what about them? But we get to get the guards at your job or whatever. He said, I told them fools like, man, y'all better not try these guys, man. Y'all better leave these dudes alone. Real talk, man. We was shooters. Me, Ed, Dame, and T, little short. We was with the bussing, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's like you would mess around and really get popped. You know what I mean? That's just how it is, man. I know guards that done shot people, and I know guards that done kill people, man. It can happen. These things happen. These are times to use deadly force. Last resort, extreme necessity. All lesser means have failed. Imminent danger of contusions, abrasions, fractures, bleeding, and or death. Because usually whatever a person is going to use to cause any of those is a dangerous weapon, a deadly weapon. You understand? See, weapons is one of the things that changes things because a weapon in the state of California is an unfair advantage. If you have a firearm and I don't, you can't shoot me. If I bust you in your face and you pull a gun and shot me in the state of California, that's not self-defense. Self-defense is I hit you, you hit me, not I hit you, you shoot me. That's an unfair advantage. You see? So when firearms come out, we come out. Just as simple as that. We had some guy get kicked out of one of the clubs we was doing security for off of Coliseum, like Crenshaw. And he was out the J's. He dude from the jungles. Come about the building, he mad. He go around to the back to the parking lot. My guys are following him. And like, okay, what's going on? I mean, he just going to the back. He ain't doing that. Okay, well, as long as he leave. He go to his car, go to the parking lot, go to his car. He don't jump in the car and drive. He go to the trunk. Now he got like 3 guards watching him, armed. He go to the trunk, pop the trunk. They see him get the pistol out the trunk. He get the gun, cock it, and jump in his car. They don't engage because, hey, maybe he's just gonna leave. Maybe he just want to have his gun before he left. He want to have it in, up in front with him or something. No, man. The fool pulled around the front of the club and started busting on the club. Started getting off. My guys get back off on him. One of the guys hit him in the chin and in his upper chest with a 9. Had it been a 40, he lived. Had it been a 40, I don't think he would have lived. But not the way he was hit. But hit him good, man. Put him down and yeah. Got arrested and all that. Police came out to do their little report and take down the information. Turns out the dude was an informant, a paid informant. He worked for LAPD. But he was also a banger though. He also was banging, but he was also getting a check to snitch on everything that's going on in the neighborhood, any information that they need. Is that why he was emboldened to shoot up in that club like that? Can't help but wonder. So that is the conclusion of this here video. The training. These are the basic fundamentals of security business. Just so anybody that's wanting to get into the business, this is what it is. It's the current business. Shouts out to all my homies. Shouts out to all my brothers and the hood, man. And all the people that's thinking about joining the security industry. This video is for you guys, just for you to take some looks at and do some fundamental understanding of, what the overall job duties and how to carry them out as an unarmed security officer. Armed style, armed, this is a totally different kettle of fish. But unarmed, this is how you get it done, man. So yeah, like, share, subscribe, and try to get your education on, and get understanding of a industry before you even go about getting the license and getting certified. This will be your preamble. You understand? And all the things I'm telling you here, in particularly state of California, this is basically a lot of the stuff you're going to need to know. But you got to go through that manual and also be able to answer those um, test questions correctly. So you got to do that part. You understand? This is just like I said, like a workshop, small workshop on the unarmed security industry, how to go about doing it. So that's what we were doing here. Hope you learned something. I hope you got your education on. You know what I mean? Once again, I gotta say, peace be up on my beloved brother Twilight, man. I lost him this year. And this is what we was working on, this podcast and stuff. So I have to go full throttle because I don't have my big brother no more. So this is what I'm doing, man. I'm kind of keeping the legacy of what we were getting ready to do anyway. We're keeping it there, man. But yeah, man, peace be up on my brother, man. This is pictures from the Million Man March when all the homies for the housing projects, all the homies from Watts went, to the Million Man March, man. So you have Bloods and Crips in this picture, man. Good old days, man. But yeah, like I was saying, hey, I hope you learned something. We got other training videos that we're going to put up dealing with other things, the how to do, what not to do, and stuff like that. But thank you for tuning in to the What's Going On show, where we deal with what's going on, where we also deal with education and not just skill trade, but life management, homeowners workshops, and cultural education is a big deal to us. Join us the next week. Join us tomorrow where we're going to be doing a regular what's going on list lineup for the current events or whatever's going on in the world at the time. We're going to go give our perspective and address it and according to what's going on with our people. How does this affect us? You know what I'm saying? Try to get people thinking. That's the big job of a facilitator, is to get people to think, provoke thought. That's what I try to do. That's what we do here. You understand? The Social Solutions Institute. But yes, sir, man, any questions or anything, hit them up in the comments. We will be opening up our phone lines tomorrow, and people will be able to call in when we do our regular podcast or we're doing our training shows and things like that. We also have some interviews coming up with some local go-getters and movers and shakers from out the Watts area, man, that's doing the work, that's out there trying their best to do their part to make the world they got to leave their children in a better place. And we think these brothers and sisters need to get some recognition for what they're doing. We are working on the Twilight Bay Legacy Award, man, and we're going to be looking out for these children that's in these young people that's in the communities that's taking it upon themselves to do their part to try to change the condition. We're targeting young people because they need the motivation and they need the shot of adrenaline so that they don't give up. You're doing the right thing, keep doing the right thing. We need to be there for them to make sure that they do the right thing. And we're going to be having a link set up to make people can make donations towards that particular program if they want to. Gonna put that off in here too, Mike. But like I said, we're not going nowhere. This is what me and Twilight was getting ready to do. So I gotta do it with everything that I got in me. And we're gonna just pray and ask the Most High to bless me with what it is that he want me to do, because his will is what's important to me. Hey man, love y'all to death, love y'all to life. Stay out of trouble, man. And we'll see each other again, tomorrow. Yeah, fine. Same bat time, same bat channel. You understand? So it's been your boy, the Bam Bam Belly Yon, the only one, 10 foes, 10 toes down, man, representing Eastside Watts. And till the next time, man, hey, keep breathing. If you're breathing, you got opportunity to get it right. If you stop breathing, you've lost all opportunity. So if you're still breathing, man, I need you to try to get it right. Don't take it for granted. None of us are here forever. And we need to take it upon ourselves to do our part in God's will and carry that out throughout to the end of our life, man. That's what we're supposed to do, especially us men out here. But peace, man. Love y'all to death. Love y'all to life. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all evening.